Hi guys, it's Devin from Devin's Dog Days, and today I am going to be doing a quick little video about how I accomplish a pet Welsh groom. This is Robbie, and he's going to be my little model buddy today, and I'm just going to walk you guys through the step-by-step transformation of turning him from a fuzzball back into a handsome pooch. So stick with us.
Getting started, I'm using my ARTERO Spektra clipper set to a 10 for his sanitary areas, being careful to hold them flat to the skin with gentle pressure. To clip the pads of the feet, I like to set my Spektra to a 30. Again, using gentle pressure, I scoop out the pads of the feet, and then I also just clip a little bit on the top of the back of the pad of the foot too. For the ears, I use a 30 to clip the inside of the ear leather, clipping the edges tight and clean, and then setting my Spektra to a 10 blade for the outside of the ear. Some groomers like to use shears to edge their ears, but I find a 30 or a 40 blade to be much safer and quicker for myself. To trim the nails, I'm using my ARTERO Duke nail clippers and then smoothing them with my Dremel. Filing nails has become a really strict practice of mine just because I know that if my dog gets picked up from the groomer and comes home and scratches me with sharp nails, I'm not going to be thrilled either. Not to mention, you're much more likely to get them shorter with a Dremel than you are just the nail clippers. Next up, my ARTERO hit clippers with an ARTERO 7F blade for my flatwork areas. For the flatwork area on the face, I clip from the corner of the ear to just behind the corner of the eye, about 1/4 of an inch, and then I drop down to just above the point of chest, and then I draw a line up right into the bottom jaw, going right up into the flue. You don't want to clip off the full chin or else you're going to lose your cute little goatee, and that really can throw off having that really nice rectangular shape of the head. I also like to use this blade length to clip the back end of the dog from the bum to the points of rear and down the inside of the leg, just enough to expose that strong inner thigh. Now for a crucial part, raking and carding to help remove undercoat. This also helps mock actual hand stripping by removing coat from crowded hair follicles, which can cause bumps, ingrown hairs, and other skin issues if not removed. For this step, I start with my ARTERO King Double Supercoat with the widest set teeth and work my way down to rake with the most narrow teeth. After I've removed as much as I can get with the rakes, I then go over the jacket with my carding knife, the ARTERO Super Stripping Knife, to get the coat to where I am removing little to no soft fuzzy undercoat. This part of the strip and clip groom is what's going to help retain the color and texture of a hand strip coat. If you were just to clip this and not remove any of this soft, dull, fuzzy stuff, it would look really dull, really gray, and it wouldn't have any of that healthy shine or even the color brown or black in the coat. It would all just look very dull gray or white and pale. So this is a really excellent way to help really maintain that natural color for these hand strip wire coated breeds.
Time for the bath.
For my bathing process, I always follow the double scrub method. Starting by wetting the coat, I then apply the ARTERO Basic Shampoo. This product can be applied directly to a wet coat like you see me doing here with my ARTERO Red Rubber Grooming Pad, or it can be diluted with water at a ratio of 16:1. Using my rubber grooming pad helps me get the shampoo down to the skin while also scrubbing off any dirt or debris in the coat. It even helps continue removing loose dead coat in the tub with its massaging rubber bristles. Something I always like to keep in mind is giving the feet a really good scrub and massage in the tub, working the shampoo into the pads of the feet really well. This to me is a super important part of keeping dog skin healthy and clean. As always with any 10-point grooming inspection, I check the anal glands to make sure they are normal and not discolored, green or yellow, or possibly impacted. You can feel that they're full but nothing comes out. In either of those cases, I will let the owners know to take their pets to the vet and have them expressed and checked for a possible issue. As a personal preference, I only express anal glands at this point in the bath. It makes them very easy to immediately rinse, usually helps mask or decrease the smell, and then you won't run the risk of any sticking to the coat because we are moving on to our second scrub. ARTERO Vitalizante and Blanc are my go-to shampoos in the salon. Vitalizante is an incredible volumizing and texturizing shampoo that helps coats stand straight up, nice and crisp, which is so important for getting a good finish on a groom. If you work with hand strips, it's perfect for keeping the texture of the coat and helping jackets lay nice and tight to the body. Blanc is my go-to for enhancing the color and adding a beautiful shine to any coat. This makes such a difference in adding that beautiful shine and healthy glow, as well as helping to lighten any stains. After a good scrub to work these shampoos into the coat, I always like to let them sit for at least 90 seconds to make sure that the coat has ample time to absorb the beneficial properties. For this rinse, you want to be incredibly mindful of removing all of the shampoo from the coat. Rinse until the water is clear and check by squeezing water off of each leg between the hind legs, under the chest and armpits, and on the face to be 100% sure you have removed all traces from the coat. Leaving any shampoo in the coat can cause skin irritations that can lead to a vet visit, and no groomer or pet owner wants that. Using my ARTERO Zumba towel with pockets and my ARTERO Dune towels, I try to remove as much moisture from the coat as I can. This will help me cut down on force and fluff drying time, which requires a lot more of my energy than a good towel dry. After that, I like to quickly run a slicker over the jacket to get the hair laying in the direction that I want before putting a drying jacket on the dog. If you do not have drying jackets in your salon, get them. They are an incredibly underappreciated tool in the pet grooming industry. They're great not only for terriers, but sporting breeds and more as well. Not to mention they're made of a moisture-wicking material that makes them air dry or fan dry even faster. And of course, another important health checkpoint, the ears. Since Robbie's ears are not overly dirty, I love being able to quickly clean them using my ARTERO ear cleaning wipes. I can use both sides of this finger caught style wipe and use it to get into any creases and gently remove any dirt hiding in there. After a brief time drying under fans, maybe about 10 minutes maximum, it's on to fluff drying time for the furnishings. The body under the drying jacket is still slightly damp, so I keep the jacket on for this process and stay mindful of the pattern lines between the body and the furnishings, the longer coat on the legs and the face while fluff drying. Using my ARTERO Stella Slicker Brush, ARTERO Mix Conditioning Spray, and my heated hair dryer with my Groomer Essential Hose Holder, sold by Love Groomers, I work to straighten and brush through all of the longer hair meant to give body and balance to the overall structure of the groom. Special shout out to Love Groomers for this awesome drying arm that is made with a table clamp base and is the most sturdy and reliable drying arm I've ever used. Once we're all good and dry, to make sure Robbie's coat is completely tangle-free and has no spots that I might have missed while fluff drying, I use my ARTERO Bare Extra Volume Comb and ARTERO Anti-Static Spray to comb over his entire coat, checking specifically in the longer areas of the legs and armpits. Leaving any tangles or dampness in the coat will cause it to tangle and mat up very quickly after all this hard work, and we do not want that. And now we're ready to groom. Using a number 10 blade, you can also use a 15 or 30, dealer's choice, I pop on my 1/4 inch guard comb from my ARTERO Snap-on comb set, or the number 4 comb. Starting at the base of the skull and going with the grain, I clipper the body or jacket of the dog. For these types of terrier strip and clip grooms, I always love using a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 inch number 4 or 2 comb for the body. Because we have dried the coat tight to the skin, as these coats were meant to be, the actual length of the coat on the dog is longer than that, creating a nicely mimicked tight jacket. For the furnishings, I like to create a line from the top of the loin down to the hock of the dog, and after I am done clipping, I'll go back in and I will blend that in with my thinning shears. Again, with wanting this to be a tight groom, you always want to make sure that you wrap around the dog following the rib cage and then keeping the underline tight on the dog. I also like to use the same attachment comb on the top of the head, and I'll go back over that with thinning shears afterwards to blend it all in. One thing that is nice about Robbie is he's a regular monthly client, so even though he's in a pet clip, I'm still able to do some stripping on his face and furnishings. Like all of the raking and carding I did before the bath, this helps to remove dead and dull hair from the coat and keep the healthy, natural color of the coat without losing it completely by merely cutting this hair and removing none of the dead buildup. His dad absolutely loves that I'm still able to keep more of the color and texture of a hand strip coat without all of the upkeep. For this step, I use the ARTERO Latex Stripping Thimble size large. Using these not only gives me a better grip, but also protects my skin from developing calluses. After I feel I've stripped enough to continue growing healthy layers, I grab my Onix thinners to finish the legs and face. These thinners are my go-to shears on coats like these where I want a really soft, natural finish with no hard scissoring lines. I scissor the feet tight at the base, combing the hair down toward the foot to make sure I get all the hairs hanging past the pads of the foot. I follow this same step for all 4 feet. A good practice to keep in mind as well is to always make sure that your dog is standing in the correct position and not tucking their legs underneath or anything that would throw off the outline of the groom. If you end up having a dog that likes to pick up whatever foot you're working on, pick up the opposite foot and then work on the one you want. This trick always throws them off. Now that I've got my feet set, I'll go over the legs and pluck what I can to neaten them and make room for a healthy new layer. For pulling furnishings, one of the best pieces of advice that I've received is to think of your fingers like your shears. Instead of cutting with scissors, you're plucking with your fingertips, still drawing the same lines and still connecting the same dots. The only difference is the tool that you're using. Once I like the amount that I've pulled and feel that I don't want to pluck too much to affect the column shape of the leg, I'll move on to scissoring them. Starting with the rear legs, I use my thinning shears to create a straight line from the exposed inner thigh that I clipped earlier down to the foot. This helps to create the strong, sturdy stance that we like to see in terriers. At the same time, I'm working to blend any of my transitional areas between the tight body and longer leg furnishings. With the inside of the hind leg set, I can now simply match the line to the outside, creating a strong column with parallel lines on each side of the leg. With the inside of my hind leg set, I can now simply match the line on the outside, creating a strong column with parallel lines on each side of the leg. To set the line of the front of the leg, I keep in mind that Robbie's dad likes a nice tight groom, and I scissor the leg so that the ankle lines match that of the back of the leg to the hock area and create a bend of knee and pleasant outline. Again, most importantly, blend, blend, blend. You do not want to see a really harsh line when it comes to separating your leg into the body. It's just not pleasing to the eye, and if you can really trick it to make it think that that hair is the body, it's just, mwah, chef's kiss. For the front legs, I start by creating a line by dropping right off from the chest down into the toe. You don't want to create a break at the pasterns here, as these legs are meant to be strong and sturdy columns. Next, I set the outside of my front legs, drawing a line from the shoulder right down into the foot. And again, every time I'm passing my thinning shears over this, it blends even better than before. For the inside of the legs, I trim to match the line I already created on the outside of the leg to again create parallel lines, and then I neaten the back of the front leg so that the length of coat on the front and the back legs are balanced, and one half of the dog does not look heavier than the other. From there on my legs, I just like to keep going over it, making sure that I check on the insides and the outsides of the leg and just get any hairs that might be sticking out of place. You know, the sticky outies that we groomer professionals call them. Last step on the front is the chest, which very simply is trimmed to the point of the elbow when the dog is in standing position. And last but not least, the head. Because I've already clipped the flatwork areas, neck, cheeks, and jaw, I need to follow the structure of the dog to create that signature rectangular shape of head. Again, a key component to this groom is blending. Blending your flatwork areas into your body areas, blending your cheeks into the top of your head. No harsh lines. You want to make sure that those transitions are nice, clean, and gradual. That's what really helps this groom stand apart from the average pet clip. I work to blend and shape the head so that there is no edginess to the face, even into the beard, and leave enough on the top of the muzzle so that there's only a slight stop between the top skull and foreface. It definitely takes a couple times going over to make sure that you get this head nice, neat, and perfect, that not a hair sticks out of place, and that it is good to go for the long haul. I scissor the eyebrows to expose the outer corner of the eye, slightly at the stop to create that separation, and then toward the nose to create a sharp triangular shape and help create that classically confident Welsh expression. I neaten the beard to keep that rectangular shape while also keeping it in balance with the rest of the head and body. And with that, we finish off with the perfect ARTERO Fresh Cologne, and we're done. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video with me. I absolutely love sharing everything dog grooming related. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for what we create next.